Welcome to the Black Tower podcast. We are a Wheel of Time podcast with questionable morals as it is. I am one of your lesser, but still sometimes okay hosts. Your Bajan Mahil, Andrew. And I am joined by another fantastic host who's been here quite a while. You may have seen him before.
Hi, I'm the bologna in this tainted grilled cheese sandwich. My name is Josh. I come to you as your Sorovan Mahale.
And I am Daniel, your Joker Con Mahale.
Joker Con Mahale.
Your Persona Con Mahale.
Everybody's going to hear Joker, and they're going to think like Heath Ledger. Yeah, they're going to think Heath Ledger because we ignore the next one after. Well, that
Tekashi 6ix9ine Joker.
Yeah, we ignore Tekashi 6ix9ine and skip right to the Phoenix. Jared Leto's Joker was just a really bad fever dream. It was like a flicker scene, if you will.
Yes.
A flicker? Flicker.
No, honestly, we've had so many Jokers, and only one of them was the real Joker, and we all know who that was. And then all of the
Jack
other
Nicholson?
ones, yes, and all of the other ones have been the worlds in which the Dark One won. Some of them are okay. In fact, some of them are quite nice. But then you have ones where like the Dark One wins really hard. And then you get the Dark One 6ix9ine.
The Dark One wins so hard.
Yeah. But if you want to win so hard, make sure you head on over to blacktowerpod.com and check out all of the tainty stuff we have to offer there. It's got Discord, it's got forums, it's got Patreon, it's got a running most of the time up-to-date list of our 5 most recent YouTube videos and podcast episodes when I remember to add them to the website because life get busy sometime. And it also has...
It do that.
Gets in the way.
Yeah. Yes. It also has a nice, fancy Indiana Jones-esque, one may even say gender-bent Indiana Jones in the best of ways. Link to our sponsor, the better half of the Sorvan Mahal household, the Crystal Barista. You can go and check out the Crystal Barista for all of your rock hounding needs. And if you're like, hey, life for me is also busy, so I cannot go find my own rock. You can buy rock from Crystal Barista. She has rock, she has minerals, she has all variations of the above. So go and check out the Crystal Barista and let her know that we sent you by just saying, hey, Black Tower Podcast sent me here, so that she can, tell us thank you. Because that's what we need, the validation. Do it for our validation, please.
Do it for our validation.
Yeah. But in addition to the Crystal Barista, I believe there's some other things they should check out, right, Josh?
Yes. First off, you've already gone to blacktowerpod.com. You've already gone to Crystal Barista and facebook.com/rockpick. You've already done those things. And God, it really tired you out. And that's cool. We get it. Sometimes you run down. You need a nice pick-me-up, one that tastes great and won't give you the shakes and no crash afterwards. That's why you want to go to Dubby and get some Dubby energy. Put in code BTP for 10% off because it's awesome and you're going to love it. Then, after you got some pep in your step, you will have enough energy to traverse the Great Blight. Go to thegreatblight.com where everything, compendium, if you will, of all things Wheel of Time is available at your fingertips. Nablus has done an amazing job building an amazing website for amazing people. That's you. So go check it out. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. It's huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
And while they're pulling out their hard-earned Andorian crowns to buy things, where else can they spend some of this illustrious coin?
Crowns. Only the finest Andorian crowns.
Not Persona, Daniel. I'm thinking of the other
Sorry,
place.
I was trying to do a screenshot. I'm in the middle of something, but I can stop for the moment to tell them that instead of spending your hard-earned money on stupid, unnecessary things, you should go over to our Spreadshirt, where you can get wonderful merchandises from the Black Tower. And then after that, make sure that you stop over at New Creations by Jen, where you can go ahead and get our merch and also other creators' merch that maybe you found on thegreatblade.com. I don't know. I don't know your life. You should probably have been there first so that you know what you're looking for. But also, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
But if you want a cool flicker shirt, you got to go to New Creations by Jen. If you want a cool Two Rivers sniper shirt, you got to go to Spreadshirt. New Creations. If you want an Althor Archery Academy shirt, that one you have to go to Spreadshirt for.
Correct.
And if you want chibis, if you want to wear our face on your body, that requires either a tattoo or chibis from Spreadshirt.
I highly recommend the first.
And I could not recommend it more. If you want to get 3 chibis, the Mihail chibi tattoo, like, dude, respect.
Go
for it. We got to compete with Way of the Leaf. They already got a fan that has their logo tattooed. So,
are you serious?
Yeah. You didn't see that? That was a couple months ago. Yeah, someone got the Way of the Leaf tattooed on their arm.
We're down by 1.
Like their logo.
I thought we had the craziest fans in the world.
You are down by 1.
You are down by 1, boy.
No. I never actually wished to get out of that cave. You did that all by yourself.
Yeah. We still got to get our collective tattoos. Every Gathering Madness, we talk about doing it, and we have yet to do it. So we got to do it.
Yeah, well, we actually legitimately have to design something as well.
I mean, we got to come up with ideas. That kind of stuff. If you have ideas for a BTP Thropple esque, I guess, tattoo, let us know. Especially if you can draw or design it, that'd be great. Anyway,
I mean, technically, speaking of other things that are great, logos for the 3 of us. We could do that.
Yeah, we do.
But again,
we have the hell logos. Yeah. Oh, we could get somebody to do like a cool, like kind of collage-esque kind of mixed thing of the logo concepts.
I like
that. Would be cool.
Yeah. But speaking of other cool things, not everybody wants to be spoiled. So we do spoiler warnings, even though most people know we are a full spoiler podcast. But just in case you somehow did not know, we have some fantastic friends that want to make sure that you know that we are full spoiler. I present to you the Gleeman's Apprentice.
The Black Tower stands fully erect.
When the tower is bulging at full erectness, you must protect yourself from tainty spoilers.
Your spoiler condom must cover the immense girthiness of all 14 books of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time,
with an itty-bitty tip at the top for the prequel New Spring.
If your condom is too small, you will get tainty spoiler jizz all up in your eye.
Or ears. You have been warned.
You gotta look out for that tainty spoiler jizz. It stings.
Yep. Thank you, Gleeman's Apprentice, for that. If you haven't already, go and check out Gleeman's Apprentice. It is a fantastic podcast. They are fantastic folks. Definitely go and check them out and tell them the Black Tower podcast sent you. So, without further ado, we have a topic, as we always have a topic for, because we are organized and professional guys.
Hey,
what's our topic for today?
We say that sarcastically, but for like at least a full year, I think we've maybe not had a topic for like 1 week. So even though we still say that sarcastically, it's actually super true.
Well, it wasn't always true, and
it wasn't always.
Yes, I believe,
and that is the reference to which we are making.
Tonight, we are discussing a figure of legend.
Oh, Very
a
legend.
figure so awe-inspiring, so intimidating,
Much old. Very
and
legend.
so pointless.
Oh,
That's right. It's
oh
another
my God.
P background break down. We are talking about, of course, the legendary Cadsuane Sedai.
Cadsuane Malaydrin.
I will, for all okay, hold on. Lost my train of thought.
Cadsuane scared Andrew.
Cadsuane scared
Andrew, come back.
Andrew, come back.
No.
Any kind of fool could see. Something.
Yeah, no,
Everything
hopefully you remember what you were thinking of. Cadsuane is such a wonderful addition to the cast of characters in the Wheel of Time. And by wonderful, I mean really annoying, but somewhat necessary. And that's a little frustrating.
I lost the little ear squishy part from one of my earbuds.
I see. Ear squishy.
So, fun story. My computer is completely frozen right now.
We have you back now.
I mean, this is awesome, but I see. Yeah. Anyway. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say that Cadsuane, for as much as I don't like her, she actually has some really badass moments in the series.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm not gonna say that out loud.
I think she is the Aes Sedai that has the biggest big dick energy out of anybody in the White Tower, to include Swan and Moraine.
Yeah, correct. Why? Yes.
Oh, there he
Sorry.
goes. He froze.
Yeah, apparently.
Welcome to the Technical Difficulties podcast.
Say that I could hear. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Coming back. Okay, we're back.
Welcome back.
Okay, so what I was saying is that Cadsuane, despite how much I dislike her, she has some very badass moments in the books.
Yes.
Probably some of the most badass moments. Maybe we can get into it later. But I feel like out of all the Aes Sedai in the White Tower, she has the biggest big dick energy, and I have mad respect for her.
I don't. I actually don't really have very much respect for her. And this is why we do these episodes, and this is why we have fun. Because Wait
a minute. Shouldn't we just all agree and accept our Amazon corporate payouts for being good little
the payment hasn't cleared for this week's podcast yet. So
also, no. It's not about that. Cadsuane's not on the show yet. I'll love Cadsuane when she shows up on Amazon. As of right now, I can say whatever I want because fuck Cadsuane.
We're still allowed to not like her.
No, and this is where I actually really love this podcast in general, as well as, this story in general. Everybody got the exact same information about Cadsuane. She does the exact same thing on the page for me as she does for Josh, as she does for Andrew, as she does for all of our listeners, as she does for everyone who's ever read this book. Some of us cannot stand this woman. Now, again, I understand things she does. I can justify her actions to her because she thinks they're necessary, but I think that she is one of the worst.
Don't get me wrong.
One of the worst good guys. I think Cadsuane is one of the worst good guys. She doesn't even hold a candle to some of the worst bad guys, but she's one of the worst good guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Gray Aja Sitter, you are completely correct. The second she shows up on screen and it's fucking, Dame Maggie Smith and she just kills it, I'm gonna be so angry when she's just amazing and I fall immediately in love with Cadsuane, and I'm gonna have to change my entire opinion. But as of right now,
it's a Vassarella from The Expanse. Christian Vassarella. What's her actor's name? She is.
Wait, she's already cast?
No, she's not cast, but she was fan cast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she messaged Rafe on Twitter and was like, apparently we have something to talk about. And Rafe was like, I have you on my casting board. So we need to talk. And so, they were
tweeting back and forth about it.
Started DMing each other.
Yeah. And then he said he would have DM'd her, but he doesn't know how to work Twitter.
Ah, yes. Okay. I do actually remember that one. I take it back. All right. Well, Andrew, both Josh and I have put in our just immediate initial thoughts on Cadsuane. What do you think? How do you feel? Let's get this actual breakdown going once we get the opinions of her out of the way.
So it's funnily enough, I have a coworker that he is now in Towers of Midnight.
Okay.
And we were talking about Cadsuane today, in addition to some other topics, which, if I remember, will be more relevant next week. But I have a better opinion of Cadsuane than I did when that conversation started.
Interesting.
And to be perfectly honest, I still don't like Cadsuane.
Sure.
A lot of that is because I definitely absolutely love Rand and identify a ton with Rand, and feel like she handles Rand inappropriately. Not in a like malicious way.
Yes.
Well, not in a malicious way yet. But her backstory does set her up to be an incredible character. Now, that's all stuff that all happened before the books. So, it can be a little weird to include and talk about. Well, I say that, but it's not really that weird. I don't know where I'm trying to go with that. Anyway. She's not one of my favorite characters, but I do like her more after a discussion today than I did prior to that.
Maybe Josh can convince me of the same thing that your friend convinced you, or your coworker convinced you. I doubt it, but it's possible. We'll see where this discussion goes.
If you guys like her more after my comments, I have failed. So just don't.
Okay,
I
fair
believe
enough.
she has. I'm trying to be like equal in my analysis here, but
yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about her history. Let's talk about a little bit about the different aspects of Cadsuane herself as far as facts are concerned. Not necessarily opinions, not necessarily how much we think that she did or like her or blah blah blah, but the actual facts of the matter. She is from Farmatting. Seems to have been born and raised there until becoming a sister, which is a little interesting just because, again, you have the it's a little weird that someone from Farmatting would actually go become an Aes Sedai even if they could channel, but she does. She's kind of an outlier. Also, according to this, by the events of the books, Cadsuane is actually 294 years old, because she was born in 705. So she's actually just shy of 300 years old by the time that we see her in the book. So she's been alive a long time, has seen a lot of stuff. She is 5'5" in height. At the time of the books, she does have iron gray hair and nearly black eyes. According to this, she does first appear in New Spring. I don't know when her first appearance, it doesn't have it on here as far as when she actually appears in the standard book series. Though I imagine it's somewhere in the neighborhood of Fires of Heaven, because she's actually a pretty late comer to the party.
Yes. her intro is in. I was actually just looking it up because I wanted so badly to sound intelligent. Her intro, okay, so her intro is she makes a statement. I can't remember what book it is. But she basically walks into the throne room where Rand is hanging out, unannounced. You know, some of the other Aes Sedai are like, at first, they're like, listen here. And then when they find out who she is, they're like, oh, shit.
Technically, she actually shows up before then, but you keep going.
Well,
I do want to mention this because it's important. But yeah.
She shows up prior.
Yeah, the epic introduction. Yeah.
But she jumps into the throne room with Rand, and she's like, oh, hey, what's up, you little shit? You're stupid, and you're so dumb. You're a little bitch. What are you going to do about it? And he loses his temper, like naturally, like anyone would. Like, I get it. At this point in the story, Rand has an ego the size of Jupiter. Like, we all get that at this point in time.
This was also completely her intent.
Yes.
That was her entire purpose in even showing up, was seeing how will he react to being intentionally antagonized.
Yep.
She walked in like full mega bitch mode was on, and it didn't matter what he said. It didn't matter what he did. She was there to just get under his skin. And then when he lost his temper, she was like, oh, we will talk again when you learn some respect. Oh, and walked out. And like, that was her intro into the series, basically.
Basically. Because she actually does show up, I think, an entire book or two earlier. No. Sorry, that is her intro in the series. This is all from New Spring. Never mind. I take it back. I take it back. No, that is her introduction when she shows up in Carrion and just berates Rand for no good reason.
For the purpose of seeing how he behaved when antagonized.
Yeah. Well, and I think we would be a little amiss to not talk about why all the Aes Sedai that realize or hear that this is Cadsuane react in the oh shit manner.
Oh yes,
because her career prior to this is absolutely legendary for the Aes Sedai. Beyond the fact that most Aes Sedai think she's actually dead.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest things is that everybody's just like, oh shit, you're still alive?
Yeah. Well, so she went from novice to Aes Sedai, full sisterhood, in 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So which is unheard of.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple others that do it in similar times. I think there's a couple that do it in a couple of years shorter, but it's neither here nor there.
The three that all become full sisters in 2 years.
Yeah. But very soon after she became a full sister, she learned she got humiliated by a wilder named Norla, who lived in the Black Hills. And her tutelage is what helped shape Cadsuane's composure and skills beyond what the tower trained her to do and be. And that's where she received her, even though it's not regarded as itself a powerful Angreal, her hair ornament known as the Paralysis Net. That's where she got it from. She got it from the wilder Norla. So she first became a legend amongst sisters whenever she was offered to become a sitter for the first time in 846 NE and said, you know what? Nah, I don't want to do that. They offered again later and she said, no, I still don't want to do that. And then in 862, they said, hey, how about you lead the Green Aja? How about you lead the Battle Aja? And she says, no. And then, in around 890, she found out that the Hall of the Tower intended to raise her Amerlin, and she fucking disappeared for
the tower.
She just left. And this is after the passing of Saralel Bagand. who was the Amerlin around 890. So from 890 to 900 NE, she just noped the fuck out of the tower.
If you could do me a favor, Andrew, I'm gonna do this thing and then just edit me disappearing.
I will see what I can do. I don't know if I have those.
No, it's fine. I'm just kidding.
So do that, but then I'll need a still frame of just your chair in your room, and I'll just have one fade to the other. It'll definitely work perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, that'll work.
Sweet.
But
this is the quality content you Patreons pay for.
Yes.
yeah. So 50 years later, she fully retires from the White Tower to go to Geldon and grow roses. She's like, you know what? I'm done. And then in 975, she comes back for the IL War with her 2 surviving warders. Once the IL War is done, she retires, goes back to growing roses, and then when Logain shows up, she comes back out of retirement, but was not interested in escorting Logain to Tarvalon, but helped capture his ass.
Guys, Cadsuane is the Brett Favre of Aes Sedai.
No!
She even starts as a Green Bay Packer.
And when the world needed her most, she returns. And then later on, she hears of Taim. She hears about Mazrim Taim, and she rushes to Saldea.
Yes.
She was, before the appearance of Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine, she was the strongest Aes Sedai in the One Power in 1,000 years.
Yup.
Even though she was part of the Green Aja over the years, she confronted and captured more men who could channel than any other living sister, including those of the Red Aja. She's like, not only will I do my job, but I will do your job too, and I will do it better. Too. I will come out of retirement and do your job better than you.
Well, also, I love the one thing that I actually
also had a cheat code for
about Cadsuane is the idea that when it comes right down to it, Cadsuane was Green Aja. She was. Mm-hmm. She did officially take on the Green Aja, blah, blah, blah. But she was a rainbow sister. She absolutely was. Talent, like a particular talent in healing, captures a fuck ton of men who can channel, fights like a badass, has multiple warders, literally like goes in and negotiates shit with people, has a mission her whole life, which seems to be capturing men who can channel. I don't know.
Yeah. So I love how the wiki writes this. Talks about there's a rumor that Cadsuane assaulted an Amerlin. The rumor's vague. Everybody believes it's not true. And it literally just says, it is not. She did this. So this was Miriam Copen, who was the Amerlin in 758 NE. Everybody thought she went on a self-imposed retreat. Nah, Cadsuane fucking kidnapped her. And took her out with the goal of turning her into a strong Amerlin because she was considered weak. And Cadsuane was only 53 at the time. She had been in the tower for 53 years. Or not in the tower for 53 years. She was 53 years old, yeah. Hadn't been in the tower that terribly long. Hadn't been in Aes Sedai that long. Was like, you know what? We're going to steal the Amerlin seat. She went full Nicolas Cage.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to steal the Amerlin seat.
And...
I don't do
and this is part of where Cadsuane's telltale kind of habit of spanking people.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. This is where Cadsuane's kind of hallmark tactic of spanking people first really emerged. Because one of her methods to turn Miriam into a strong Amerlin was to turn her over and spank her at least once. And she evaded punishment because only because Amerlin,
a good Amerlin.
Yes,
that's why she was doing it.
Yeah, and so she escaped punishment because Miriam, as the Amerlins, made a statement that implied that she did not assault her, so she got away with that. But her kidnapping and her spankings did not stop there. She, in her lifetime, has kidnapped a Terrablon king who could channel, brought him to the White Tower, while being pursued by the king's army, who did not think she could channel or that he could channel. She also kidnapped the king of Aradomon and the queen of Saldea. And then, like after she released them, they were certain there was going to be war, and the war just kind of didn't happen. She has actually spanked 3 reigning kings and 4 reigning queens. She has stopped a coup in the White Tower. So she found there was a plot to overthrow. Yeah, she found there was a plot to overthrow her, even though she didn't like her. She stopped it by capturing the conspirators who believed they'd be able to enlist the help of her, and took them directly to the Amerlin's office herself. And, obviously that kind of embarrassed the Amerlin because, hey, here's somebody I don't like that discovered this plot and just saved my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is one of the points where, like, I do actually really respect Cadsuane for that. When you can actually protect your enemy because they're your mother, that is the right thing to do. That is absolutely the kind of person that you should be. Because, again, you dislike this Amerlin. That is the way that people view you. How you actually react when they try to go ahead and recruit you into that coup is your character. And clearly, Cadsuane is a woman of character. However, we did just go over the fact that she has a little bit of a problem with authority and also people not doing what she wants. And she regularly goes, "You need to be spanked," which is not a particularly good diplomatic tool.
This is where my character flaws of Cadsuane come in, because we've talked at length about how the White Tower, one of the biggest issues they face as an organization is they are stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
They have policies and rules that are 1,000 years old that are actively making them weaker, making them lesser, not recruiting. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that they do that just really have that make things difficult for the White Tower to maintain that standard of strength. And if you ask any sister in the White Tower, they will straight up say, "Oh yeah, we were way stronger 1,000 years ago than we are now." Period. End of story. There's no question about it. But instead of being reflective on that and going, "Yeah, guys, something's not right," they hold tighter to those old traditions. And Cadsuane is the ultimate in holding true to those traditions. Now,
sometimes, yeah,
there's very good and there's very bad. Part of her reason is, check your privilege, right? She can channel more than anybody else in the world prior to Nynaeve and Egwene. And so basically she walks into a room and everybody does what she tells them to, because she can channel more than anybody else. So the system works out pretty great for her.
Yes.
Cadsuane, in all her wisdom, can't see past the end of her own nose in this sense. And that is one of the big character flaws. And that's actually one of the reasons I love these books, is these characters have flaws. They are flawed characters. They're not just these perfect, amazing, can do whatever the hell they want.
I was actually just about to say it. So it is humorous that you bring up the phrase "can't see past her own nose," because she is actually very, very well known for being able to see things that other people can't. Now, again, we actually go ahead and find out that some of that is due and some of that is experience and some of that is a natural talent for it. But again, it's so ironic in so many ways that this woman who can see all doesn't actually realize how much damage she is doing to the people that she's trying to help. Because again, this is one of the things that I actually think about Cadsuane. I think that her intentions are always noble. Now, I think a lot of them are also end up being very self-serving because those noble intentions get tossed around with the things that she's used to, with the privilege that she has been given her whole life, with the fact that she's been an Aes Sedai so long, the fact that she thinks that she knows best, all of these different things. But I think that Cadsuane typically looks at problems and goes, how can I fix it? Unfortunately, in that sentence, a hell of a lot of emphasis gets put on the I rather than fix. And that's a little bit of a problem. And that's actually one of the reasons that I dislike Cadsuane so much, is that she is very much an ends justify means kind of girl. And also a very much, I need to be the one to do this, and the way I think it should be done is clearly the right way to do it. And I completely disagree with her that is true on a number of occasions, and I completely disagree with the statement and the thought process of my way is the best way, especially when it seems like it's not on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
What do you got,
well,
Andrew?
So she tries to deal with Rand the same way that a lot of parents will try to deal with children that are throwing tantrums, that at the most, the child has anger issues, and that's about all there is to it. The whole, like, you will not talk to me this way, you will not treat me that way, you will not disrespect me, that's how she tries to treat Rand for the longest. And it takes her quite a while, all the way until what is his Bodhisattva moment? Is that Towers of Midnight?
When he
Second
yes,
last
Bodhisattva
book,
moment on Dragon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So it's all the way up until shortly before then, before she realizes she is dealing with Rand entirely the wrong way, because Rand is not simply a child with anger issues or a child throwing temper tantrums. Rand is a deeply scarred and damaged person. And this is part of the conversation I had today with the coworker.
Yeah.
Because we had this exact same conversation about how she was dealing with Rand.
Yeah.
All of her motives were in the best of places, thanks to things like Varen's letter and Min's viewings and all this, her being told that, she has an important lesson to teach all of the Ashaman, but especially Rand, to teach him how to laugh and cry again, which ultimately we count as her succeeding once she finally figures out a better way to deal with Rand. But you don't take the guy that is suffering from immense physical agony, immense PTSD, severe PTSD, dissociative identity disorder, survivor's guilt, and just the pressure and the resignation by the point she meets him first, that his whole purpose in life is to die. So you have this guy, this kid, who has all of this going on in his head, and she treats him like a child throwing a temper tantrum, and that doesn't work, as we see. It
Moraine
never works.
even learns that lesson very painfully as well. You can't tell them what to do. Alana learns that lesson. Like, it's eventually everybody who deals with anyone from the Two Rivers eventually learns the lesson that you can't tell them what you can't tell them nothing.
Well, they have to learn the lesson that Rand he's not just being a stubborn man. He's not just throwing tantrums. That to his core, everything he's doing, he believes is what must be done. And that's another part of what the coworker and I talked about today, was that, he started talking about, it's like, well, Rand could tell that what he was doing was wrong. He talks about the little voice getting quieter and quieter. And then when the event with Tam happens, the voice goes silent. I'm like, yes, but no. That is Rand looking at his life, at his situation, at what he feels is his fate and destiny, and being like, this isn't what I want. This isn't how I want to do it. This isn't where I want to be in life, but it's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I was like, because when you look at how he treats Aes Sedai, what motivation does he have? What reason does he have to treat Aes Sedai any different way? Because from the eye of the world through Towers of Midnight, the Aes Sedai have ritualistically lied to him, not directly, but by omission.
Of course, right.
They have manipulated him. They have definitely abused the shit out of him. And he's had all of these terrible experiences to where he's now treating the Aes Sedai this way, because every time he lets his guard down to try to actually work with Aes Sedai, they fuck him over.
Well,
and so at this point, it
usually
seems
the
like
hardest way possible.
It's an institutional problem from his perspective with the Aes Sedai.
And again, think about that as well in terms of the fact that there was one exception to that rule. And now his survivor's guilt is worse because the one exception to that rule sacrificed herself to save his life because of his inactivity. Like, seriously? Well, and going back to Cadsuane and whatnot, like that's one of the biggest problems that I have with her is that, okay, if you're an Aes Sedai who's just coming in from the outside and you don't know any of these things, her first interaction with Rand can absolutely, in some ways, be brushed aside to a certain extent because she does have this bad interaction, but she doesn't actually know Rand at all. And she is very much viewing him through the lens of what she has heard about the dragon. And he is kind of seemingly outwardly an egotistical fuckhead at the point where she meets him. That's true. And again, I love Rand. And one of the reasons that I love Rand is because I get to see, all of us, the readers, the audience gets to see inside his head and know he's not an egotistical fuckhead. But some of his actions are very, very overly done.
Yes.
And so hearing about that and seeing him for the first time, you can forgive her to a certain extent for walking in and treating him like she had been told he was. However, very quickly, Cadsuane learns a lot of the things that Andrew just brought up. And she even makes a very clear comment that freaks Rand out in some ways about how disassociative he's being. And she knows now about a lot of his traumas. She's now delved him relatively quickly to go ahead and find out the physical trauma that he's been under. So she knows about a good handful of these traumas, and she doesn't change for months. Months and months and months of just shared trauma between the two of them is the only thing that actually gets her to understand that she's been wrong the whole time. And that's where it's a problem, because unless you actually change with new information, I can't respect the way that you're treating other people. Because again, you had this information. I didn't like the way you treated the person, but you had this much information. The second that you learned this much information and did nothing with it, I can't go with you. I can't be okay with the fact that you know so much more now and did nothing different.
Well, and to kind of even bring a point out, it again, like we've stated, abundantly, and we all, I think, agree on this. Cadsuane had no idea what she was getting herself into when she walked into that throne room.
Yeah.
So that's why she pissed him off, to gauge his reaction, find out who he is.
Just another male Chandler, just another pompous ruler. I can deal with this. I've done it before.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Yep.
How many times has she threatened to paddle his bottom?
Is that a specific line from the books? Because if it's not, it should be. Andrew, are you a writer?
The problem then comes with her just, casually throwing out, "Oh, have you started to hear voices yet?" Now, Rand has started to hear voices. Mm-hmm. And as there are not an abundance of men who can channel laying around,
and one of them seems to want to kill him.
We don't know that that's a common symptom yet. And so Rand is like,
oh, the reader knows.
The reader knows, but the characters don't. So Rand is now even more questioning his own sanity at a time when we really don't need the savior of the world questioning his sanity.
For example.
So she then brings in all the other Aes Sedai.
Yes.
She interrogates them. She says, what's going on here? And she pries and interrogates and pushes and finds out that some Aes Sedai who have just come from a certain battle around a certain well have sworn fealty to the Lord Dragon. And she loses her goddamn mind.
Yep.
She is not happy to find out that Aes Sedai. I think my favorite part of this interaction is that she's actually equally as unhappy with Rand as she is with the Aes Sedai who did it. Because she's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't you have any self-respect as an Aes Sedai from the White
You need to
Tower?
read some prophecy.
Right?
Like, man,
But she
you are
gets, like-
295 years old. You have not read the Corinthian cycle. Come on.
In all that time?
Is that
Come
First
on.
Corinthians or Second Corinthians?
Both.
Welcome to the Corinthians cycle. And it just she kind of takes it in the wrong way as well. He takes it in the wrong way, and they get off to a bad start.
Oh yeah.
Their next interaction, though, I think is very interesting.
When you come in full cocked against somebody, it's never going to be a
Right.
good start. Like when your first introduction is like, "Hey, boy," like, yeah, no, that never goes any well.
Hey guys, remember that time with our first episode when I was on the show and I was like, Andrew and Daniel suck so hard and you guys are a bunch of dicks and I hate you and you're so dumb and your show sucks. And then you guys were like, I like this guy. We should keep him around. Do you remember that?
No, I totally remember that because that's absolutely how conversations and meeting people goes. And everybody always loves it when you walk
Now,
to their room that they own right now and go, hey, fuck you. Fuck everything that you
fuck your head and the neck it right in on.
sit on this and spin around.
Now I will say this: none of us have the benefit of being 300 years old.
Correct.
Speak for yourself.
I'm an old soul.
I mean,
I'm an old
that's
soul.
true about me, but I'm still not 295. And 295 years old you are. Look as good you
look
will.
as good you will not. I like their next interaction though because it goes very. She walks into the room, slaps her big white tower on the table, and says, "I will paddle you, boy." And she basically gives him absolutely no reason to believe that she's on his side.
Not even a little.
At all whatsoever. And she likes it that way. She wants to keep him on his toes. She doesn't, she wants to keep people guessing. She doesn't like people knowing the truth.
Dragon is a non-comfortable dragon.
Hey,
Yeah.
She's from the country and she likes it that way.
we're from the country and we like it that way.
I like that. That was nice.
Rand decides later on that he needs to sneak out to the rebel camp.
Ah, yes.
And he poses as Caroline. Was it Caroline? Caroline Damodred's cousin.
Is it Sweet Caroline?
We
Bump,
know about
bump.
Caroline,
another famous
Damodred.
Comes out there and he's like, "Yes, Caroline, I'm your cousin now." And Caroline's like, "Cool, let's do this." They're hanging around, walking around, doing all the stuff, and they run into Cadsuane, who, as per typical Aes Sedai, has gone to the rebel camp to find out what the juicy goss.
What do
She
you
wants
want?
And
the tea.
and the
Not
reader
that simple.
doesn't know.
What?
The
do
reader
you
doesn't know
want?
at this point, but she knows. She knows it's Rand
Yes.
Oh yeah.
because she's got a little 8-pointed star that likes to fucking snitch.
Yes. She yes. And Rand kind of looks, and then he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him.
Okay, the rest of this is apparently just gonna be a
Cadsuane
musical.
knows, and he knows
Sorry.
she knows.
Cadsuane the musical.
And he's like pissed because he's like, shit, I'm about to get outed. She's about to out me. And then when she doesn't out him, he immediately falls into, okay, that cool, but why?
Yes.
And so he's like, all right, I'll play it by ear. We're gonna do this. And then what was it? She's doing her thing, she's doing the Cadsuane thing. She starts actively talking shit. Yeah, the Lord Dragon is, this so-called dragon is a little whiny boy. I'll have him, eating out the palm of my hand. And she's doing it on purpose to, again, antagonize him.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we get a little bit from like in her, a little bit of an excerpt from in her head where she's like, in this very important meeting where everybody here wants to kill him, now is a perfect time to test how tolerant he can be.
Yep. Well, also,
Which again,
okay, can I just say,
not necessarily a bad test, done in a very bad way.
yes. Can I just say, okay, this is not actually related to Cadsuane, but it's related to the scene, and I just want to say this out loud. Rand, at this point in the story, is actively being a dumbass. Do not, please. You are trying to go unnoticed and pretend to be someone you're not. Why? Why, for the love of the creator, are you walking around the rebel camp with a heron mark blade?
It's like he didn't learn his lesson from the
Why?
book one, dude. Book one.
Like, seriously. And that, again, I know that it's for story purposes, and it's actually a really epic duel that happens, and I love the scene. It's actually a really cool thing, and I actually, really hope that they keep at least part of it in the show and things like that, because it's a really great scene, and I love it, but it's predicated on Rand being a really big idiot.
Yeah. So they all kind of look out
Anyway.
at this point, because Torum is like, I see you have a heron mark on your blade. Let us. And he's also kind of flexing because he's feeling a little challenged because he's obviously an alpha, totally an alpha. And when there's another alpha in the room.
Well, also, he's been having
bro?
Cadsuane talk shit about him for the last 30 minutes, and he's like,
Sup, bro?
you know what? I want to hit something with a sword. God damn it.
Sup, bro?
Yeah. She brought out his inner Chad.
Yep.
So they commence with a duel. It's beautiful. That starts, much like Wesley and Inigo Montoya, ding ding. And ding ding. Ding 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 ding. That is exactly how it happened. And then a fog.
Oh God!
appears.
Oh fuck! I'm just
God.
imagining Rand now later on as he pulls out his sword and goes, "I know something you do not know.
I am not right-handed anymore.
I have no right hand."
I admit
I'm
that
so
you are
sorry.
better than I am. Oh, really? Then why are you smiling? Good one. Because I know something you don't know. No. So, but then this fog comes out of nowhere, and everybody's like, "What's going on?" And Padan Thane jumps out of the fog, screaming, "I smell you, Randolph!" I believe he kills one guy and then slashes Rand on the side.
Right on the spear injury.
And the cool part about this is the first time that we see Cadsuane express any sort of
Concern.
indication that
Human feelings.
any sort of indication that
Whoa,
she thinks this
accurate.
might actually be the Dragon Reborn. Up until this point, she's been treating him as though he was dumb, a kid, a nobody, just another man who can channel. And even as a reader looking through this, we don't know if she believes that or if that's a front, if that's machismo that she's putting up to try and maintain her authority with the other Aes Sedai and establish some authority with him.
But at least she helps.
But she knows. Rand goes down and she's like, shit, everybody now. She commences with attempting to heal him. She doesn't have the skill. She calls one of the other healers, one of the Yellow Sisters, and says, heal this man.
Fix him.
Fix him now.
God damn it, I don't care what it costs. Make him well again.
We can make him stronger.
My wife, please.
Better.
Yeah, but it goes like well enough, and they get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes and she talks with Sorlia. And they have this like heart-to-heart talk where she's like, coming to a mutual respect terms with the wise ones. And, they make this deal that they'll work together to make him remember laughter and tears. And Sorlia, to show that she has faith in this, kind of shows Cadsuane how to travel. And now Cadsuane can just pop in wherever the fuck she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't always bad, but isn't always good. Because just when you think maybe Cadsuane is turning around, the very next time we see her, she's back to her fuck shenanigans and blackmailing Ashaman.
Yep.
Because she blackmails Narishma, Flynn, and Hopwell into accepting water bonds from the Aes Sedai that she leads.
That she does.
And guess who they haven't sworn fealty to?
Exactly.
Rand? Is it Rand?
That's a good guess, yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad someone got my $6 million man.
Dude, we all got your 6 million. Get the fuck out of here. Someone got my 6. Just because we didn't drop gifts in the chat doesn't mean we didn't get it.
Woo. So then she's again on her same legendary bullshit. She holds Shaolin Din Togara Morningtide captive and blackmails her into finding out what the Sea Folk want with Rand.
How many spankings do you think that she gave Narishma, Flynn, Hopwell, and Din Tagar Morningtide?
Plenty. A copious amount of spankings.
Enough.
A veritable medley of spankings.
A cornucopia of bottom strikes.
Yes.
So she does a lot of shit. Like she gets very philosophical with the wise ones, like you guys were referring to. I think her next like real big moment, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, she is present at the cleansing of Saidin.
Yes.
Oh, she is more than present.
And I was just gonna say, not only is she present, but she is instrumental.
Well, at least her paralysis net is. It's her as well. It's absolutely her. She has a lot of experience that is extremely valuable.
Definitely also the paralysis net. She just spawned into fucking San Andreas and just unlocked all the weapons. Like amazing. Her entire hairdo is one big cheat code.
I love it.
Do you think she would have been as effective if we had just just used this from the neck up, Cadsuane? If we had just brought that with us, to the cleansing of Saidin?
What is she freaking out Medusa now?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I love
make me rock hard.
Hey.
No, she doesn't.
That's again so we get all these this multi-layered hero sandwich-esque kind of thing of Cadsuane where does something really cool. then does something really shitty, and then does something really cool, and then does something really shitty.
Yep.
And this is like a really big stack of nice, really cool Angus beef on the sandwich.
Yes.
Because she is staying with Rand and Nynaeve as they are focused, well, mainly Rand, but Nynaeve as well, focused on the task at hand. And she's using one ornament of the paralysis net to maintain a shield dome above them because they're defenseless.
Mhm.
Then she uses another to detect where any of the Forsaken are channeling, looks over at Pinfell and says, yeah, the shiny crystal sword in your hand, point it that way and fire.
Yep.
And fire.
Point it that way
And
and make fucky.
Yeah. And it goes to great effect. They are able to handedly defend Rand and Nynaeve because everybody else is there to defend Rand and Nynaeve. That is their sole purpose.
Yes.
And ultimately, they're successful. And she does watch over and make sure that the now, exhausted and unconscious Rand is taken very much well care of.
Oh, wait,
She's-
but also, and this is again one of those things where she's like, I'm very concerned about Rand. Look after him, do whatever. But then she also takes the shit and goes ahead and like hides it and is like, we might need these later. But every time you want to like Cadsuane, she just fucking twists the knife that she put in from the one that she walks in.
After Shatter Logoth and after the cleansing of Sidene, they have like a stretch where they have a pretty decent relationship where because of the efforts there, Rand now trusts her to be an advisor and he talks to her. He tells her about his plans to ally with the Shan-Chan. And she's like, that's a fucking terrible idea. They are horrible, horrible people. And he's like, yeah, but the Finn told me this. And she's like, shit. Okay.
Well, I also love how okay, just think about that for a second. Yeah, but the worst people ever told me that I should ally with the second worst people ever to make sure that everyone else doesn't die. Fuck! Why is that a thing that needs to...
Well, she does turn her annoying antics on Logain for a while because Logain pops up and he's like, oh yes, I work very hard at the Black Tower, and she was like, almost as hard as you lost all that land you took in Galdea, right? Or in Geldin. Hey, I corrected myself that time. I got it.
Nicely done.
And then Logain's like, son of a bitch. And it's like everybody just seems to be rubbed wrong by Cadsuane. Min is rubbed wrong. Logain is rubbed wrong. Rand is rubbed wrong. All the other Ashraman are rubbed wrong.
Why is she going around rubbing so many people? Jesus.
Yeah. But
you think she'd be better at it?
Yeah.
No, her thing is,
but she does. She gets into it with Rand again, and he actually earns some points with her because she says something to the effect that is a threat towards Min and his friends, and he basically turns on her. He's like, "Yeah, don't ever do that again, or I will end you." She's like,
"That's
the fuck
my
does that mean?
person. I don't know."
I think is that the point where he tells her that he could end her with a thought.
Yes, that is the
because it comes into play later on.
It's so good. Finally, especially because again, my favorite part about that particular scene is that how their relationship started with her thinking he was too big for his britches, trying to piss him off, get an angry temper tantrum rise out of him, and it works. It absolutely works because she knows exactly what to say to go ahead and do whatever. And again, while she does have her moments, and I do think that she does some good things, I'm not trying to take those badassery moments away from her. She does basically keep that up the whole time, where she is just antagonistic for the sake of being antagonistic in so many ways. And a lot of the time she gets it right as far as she knows what to say to push the buttons.
Like Fael and Perrin, but none of the makeup sex.
Yes. But this is the moment where I'm the most proud of our boy Rand, and also really Cadsuane realizes that she doesn't know as much as she thinks, because she does. She goes ahead and pushes more buttons, and she's like, I know which ones to push. And she pushes a button, and Rand 100% calmly, he doesn't yell at her. He doesn't like get whatever. He just looks at her and goes, Cadsuane, you just done fucked up. You said the wrong thing to the wrong person. I'm not angry at you, but if you ever say anything like that ever again, you will be dead. Your children will be dead. All of the rest of your family will be dead. And the best part, it won't even take that much effort, and then just walks the fuck away. Like, it's the most
he
epic.
definitely pulls the like I'm not saying I want violence, but if you choose violence, someone else will raise your sons and daughters. And it's like, oh.
Yes, no, exactly. And it's so calm. Like, again, I love that scene so much because she is trying to do the same thing, and she just picks the wrong thing. And of course, I think that Rand has also learned, like, it's a combination of the two, where Rand is like, I know how to deal with you. And also, I'm being honest, because I'm not going to threaten your life or anything like that just out of nowhere. I'm not that kind of person. You had to get me to threatening your life. But also, I'm not going to yell it at you. I'm not going to tell you, angrily, blah, blah, blah. No, I am just going to give you exactly what you've been looking for this whole time. A very calm, extremely dangerous Dragon Reborn. Have fun with that.
she continues to, so like there's even a point in time Min has a viewing and says, Rand, you need her.
Mm-hmm.
Without her, you lose.
Yep.
I don't know how, I don't know why. She going to
Rand just goes, fuck.
Yeah. So he says, fine.
But man.
So he welcomes her in, and he says, he is respectful to her. He is very, a cordial, very formal with her, and asks for her advice, asks for her input. And the whole time, she's just being a bitch.
Yep.
For the sake of being a bitch. And he's like fed up, like had it up to here. And every single time he's about to be like, Min is like,
you need her.
Honey, daddy, sorry, daddy, sorry, daddy, sorry.
Rand.
And Rand is like,
this is, of course, one of the reasons why we hate when people go ahead and call Min a lamp. Like, she single-handedly saved Cadsuane.
Which may or may not be a good thing.
No, it was. Again, based on what Cadsuane does later on, she is necessary, even though I hate her.
She's the necessary evil in the book.
Yeah, and if he just murdered her the second he met her, then...
And there are two very distinct points in the future of what Cadsuane does after this point that are very clear about why Cadsuane being there is advantageous, because she goes with Rand and Min whenever he goes to meet with who he thinks is the daughter of the Nine Moons. Mm-hmm. And Cadsuane is like, my hair senses some fucky shit. That's not the daughter of the Nine Moons. That's no moon.
My hair senses are tingling.
Yeah. And it gives Rand just enough warning to where he blocks a fireball from annihilating Min. Had Min been annihilated, I am 100% confident Rand would have fully broken in the negative way.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been a very different ending. This would have been a Dragon Reborn that says, you know what? Fuck it. There's no world without Min, so I'm going to destroy time.
Aliena! Wait, what?
Yeah. So there's that.
Elmindrada! The singing is about to start.
Yeah. And then the second point is probably the most well-known point about Cadsuane and Rand's interaction. And it's when she finally realizes, hey, I've been doing a fucking heckin' stupid. And I need to deal with Rand differently. You know what's a great idea? Bring his dad here. And let him find out that I sent him to Rand. And this happens. It's in Tyr. Tam is brought to Tyr. And he and Rand are talking. Tam lets Rand know that Cadsuane sent for him. And Rand goes from, I'm super happy to see you, father, to murder.
Good.
And barely stops himself.
Against me.
You have done that yourself. But yeah, I mean, so you have this scene, and he narrowly, like by the skin of his teeth, stops himself from murdering Tam. And is horrified. Now, ultimately, the effect turns out to be what Rand needed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think you can glean from there that had Tam been brought back into Rand's life earlier, the reaction may not have been as negative and severe. Because at this point, again, Rand and Cadsuane have had a falling out of sorts. Again, well, no, yeah, they have definitely had a falling out because she was in charge of the male controlling Adam that, you know, somebody kind of gets away with and steals and uses against him. Yeah, no bueno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she is banned from my face.
Yeah. And it's exactly at that point where, like, whenever he exiles her is whenever Cadsuane is like, he said he could kill me with a thought, and I currently believe that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I've been around for 300 years. I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah. But the fucking boxes.
Yeah. I quit.
I doubt that he could do it, but I wasn't hanging around to find out. Yeah. So and then you get this beautiful scene of Tam being the incredible dad he is, where Rand just fucking opens a gateway and pieces out, and Tam goes straight to Cadsuane and is incredibly pissed. And he's like, "What the fuck did you do to my son?"
Well,
and she's like, "You need to chill your roll," and wraps him up and blows some air. And Tam is completely unfazed. He doesn't react. Looks her square in the eyes and says, I've met bullies before.
Yes.
It's like,
no. Also, like, again, just I know that Tam is absolutely incapable in that moment to actually do it. I get that. I'm aware. Cadsuane is too. I get it. But when he looks her dead in the face, you have to think that she is remembering what Rand said to her and being like, oh, he gets that from you. You could also maybe kill me with a thought, and I'm not risking that.
It was.
If you thought the Dragonborn was pissed when you threatened his wife / girlfriend, and his friends, that's what would happen if he found out that you did something bad to his daddy.
Well, can I also just say I just love that, because again, I know that it's not there, but I absolutely want to imagine at the very least that the sexual tension in that moment is so high, and Cadsuane goes, you know, I have flipped a lot of people over and spanked them. This is the first time I've had someone that I want to flip me over and spank me.
She's just sitting there, mark me down as scared and horny.
I love that. So at this point in time, Nynaeve and Cadsuane have a tenuous alliance.
Yes.
It's very like, so Nynaeve kind of steps in and goes, look, Tam, like, calm down. It's cool. And Tam's like, wisdom, I respect you, but get the fuck out my way.
Yeah.
This is not happening. And Nynaeve is like, okay, but that's Cadsuane. She's Aes Sedai. And that's when Tam delivers his line. And he's like, I don't care. I know how to deal with bullies.
Yeah.
And that's all she is. She's a bully. And it just,
Well, and I love how that is exactly the right phrase for Nynaeve, too, because guess who else has been dealing with bullies their whole life? Now, granted, I will also admit it kind of turned her into one to a certain degree as well. I'm not saying that Nynaeve is perfect, but by this point in the story, she is no longer a bully in any way, shape, or form, and she fucking hates them. So the second that Tam goes ahead and says that, she's like,
good point.
Oh, fuck, you're totally right. Have fun.
But this is essentially for story purposes the resolution of the Cadsuane arc. Now in the last battle, she does do a lot. She does help mount a ton of defenses. She does save my girl Avienda from a surprise attack by a female Forsaken who is wielding the true power. And that's whenever Cadsuane, Avienda, Sorlia, and Amiss kind of establish this kind of like collective defense thing that they'll help each other every time the Forsaken appears, because that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
And, you know, Cadsuane's cheat code hairnet can detect whenever shit's happening. So they're like, yeah, we got this. And she is one of...
by her. Thank you very much.
And she is one of the few, if not the only one, who doesn't have a direct either bond to him or prior or kind of post knowledge of the body switch, that sees Morden riding away from Rand's funeral pyre and is like, okay, that's
Sounds
Rand.
Fucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? I'm going to let him go. No big deal. And then other Aes Sedai approach her sitters, I believe, because it's Saren, Yukiri, Laurel, and Rubinda, who approach her and like, hey, what should we do? And she's like, you should ask the new Amerlin. And they all just kind of look at her and go, uh-huh.
Yeah,
and she just
we
goes,
did that.
Yeah. Yep, they were, and that's what I love about it too, is they basically corner her and they're like, no, you're not running away this time, bitch. I do love one other.
Tam? We'll go get Tam if we need to. You're gonna be Amerlin.
One other really great moment, and I realize that you can't really talk about Cadsuane without talking about Rand, because so much of she's there specifically for Rand. I mean,
this is Rand and Cadsuane.
Yes,
Rand is the taller one.
She is the plot remedy for book after book after book of Rand's mental degradation. As much as the interactions are bleh, at the end of the day, she is the pill.
She is.
I like when he comes down from the mountain and he's zen, he's cool, he's got access to all the memories of the Age of Legends, and he sees Cadsuane, and this is almost like almost absolution for her in a way, because he's like, okay, you're unbanned, come on. That's a really cute paralysis net you're wearing in your hair. And she's like,
bring it in, come on,
bring
it in.
And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I guess you don't know what it's called. I was the first male Aes Sedai who wore a paralysis net, so I guess if you're still going with titles, you could call me Rand Sedai, because I'm the oldest Aes Sedai on the world right now.
Yep.
And
she's like, what are you on about, boy? And he's like, don't call me boy. I am thousands of years older than you. And she just goes, huh.
I love that he just has this moment where he's just like, he takes all of the wind out of her sails with a simple like, huh, okay, yeah, that's cute. No. And all I can think of in that moment is her going, daddy. Oh,
well, no, and again, I think that my favorite part about that is he is still Rand. Don't get me wrong. He is absolutely still Rand, and Rand has a little bit of like sarcasm and put you down in him. I'm not saying he doesn't, but like once he comes down from the mountain, Rand is very much just person. And like, again, he is so old soul at this point and has the memories and things to back it up that he isn't he isn't saying it in a sarcastic way. And that's one of the things that I read it super sarcastic when I first read the books. And every time after that, I've been like, but he's not, though. He absolutely just looks at her and goes, don't call me boy. I'm older than you. It's not the sarcastic of like, don't call me boy. I'm actually way older than you. It's just
full on. It's full on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Like, watch it show with me, young man, and it's the oldest guy there,
right?
Physically oldest.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
No, that's exactly what it is.
And so it's absolutely Rand coming down and being like, "Oh, that's a nice paralysis net you're wearing," and she's like, "What? My hair?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
You like
don't
my
actually
hair?
remember what it's called." But I do. It's called a paralysis net, and I was actually one of the first people to wear it. So, I'm like the first Aes Sedai. Shit, you should probably call me Rand Sedai. Like, whatever. And she's like, boy, and he's like, don't call me boy. I'm older than you. Like, again,
that's what I'm saying.
The
proper term is Rand
Like, it's not even
Sedai.
sarcastic. He's not trying to put her down a peg. He's literally just saying like and facts. And you're like, holy shit, dude.
And that's what I love about that moment, because he is to the point where she is insignificant to him.
Or at least her games are. Yes. Yeah.
And there's a power in that. And I think they did a really great job of it. And it was after that Cadsuane actually deferred a little.
Yes.
And showed respect and began working with him.
Yes.
Instead of, I'm going to teach you it was a beautiful interaction there.
Well,
she internally admits to herself that she is very proud of where Rand is now and how far he's come.
Yes.
Well, and I think I actually really like one of my favorite things about the English language and most languages in general, I'm not just talking about
is
English,
that I can speak it kind of.
No, is that you can use the exact same words and say them slightly differently, and it changes everything about it. So again, up until this point, Cadsuane has been walking around with her big white tower, swanging everywhere, being like, that's right, I'm gonna teach the dragon a lesson. He gonna learn from me. The dragon's gonna learn today. And then this is the moment where she goes, I don't actually have anything to teach him. I still am going to, but I'm going to teach the dragon a lesson. I need to figure out what that is. He's going to learn today. And again, the attitude behind it is just so different, even though the word choice and the actual act of what she's going to do hasn't changed. It's just her mental thoughts on it have changed so dramatically.
I wonder if she ever was self-reflective enough to look back at the situation and go, I was instrumental in him learning that lesson, but I didn't.
But I was insignificant. Like
I was the antagonist that pushed him to that result, but I wasn't the teacher who guided him. Ooh, that's a big thought right there. I wonder if she was ever. Yeah,
she does have a long time to think about it.
She's a very long time. So okay, so final thoughts, Cadsuane. I will admit this. After having spoken about it, I don't hate her nearly as much as I used to. But I still, God, she just, it's one step forward, two steps back with her. Every time she does something badass, to bring from, her lesson of to teach him to laugh and cry again, and to quote Jim Croce, for every time that we had laughed, there were 2 times that I had cried.
Yeah.
Cadsuane, you did amazing things. You are a deep, complex character of a person who I would not get along with at all. You would be drama that I cut from my life.
Yep.
So, and that's my final thoughts on Cadsuane, man. I'm glad she was there. I recognize her role, but damn, what a difficult woman to deal with.
Yep. Andrew?
Yeah. I would say that especially recently, I feel like I've realized that Cadsuane is a character that perpetually marches forward. Definitely at the beat of her own drum, but is always moving forward. And many times in ways that we don't like, that aren't enjoyable, that don't even seem to be productive. But for the most part, everything that happens with Cadsuane is necessary. Her motives are earnestly pure and just. She does want to do good things. It's just sometimes the methods, or most of the time in the series at least, the methods just are not productive. They are not what needs to happen. And when she finally realizes that she's been going about this the wrong way, she does take steps to rectify it, essentially in a coin toss. She throws it up to essentially a 50-50 chance. She's like, I'm going to bring his dad here. He's going to know I brought his dad here. And either shit is going to go really bad and I just doomed the world, or things are going to go really well and I just saved the world. And fortunately for her, Robert Jordan's notes and Brandon Sanderson decided to write it so that she saved the world instead of dooming the world. So,
which is a good thing.
I do enjoy Cadsuane. She's still not one of my favorite characters because of her attitude towards Rand and how she conducts herself with Rand for so much of the series when we do see her. But I can recognize the importance of it and how very different the story would be without Cadsuane.
Fair.
Daniel?
Yeah, I think that Cadsuane is a necessary evil. I absolutely think that she does more harm overall than good. That's not actually true. I think that Cadsuane's actions end up saving a lot of the story. However, I think that those things easily could have been done by someone else, something different, or in a different way. And while I do think that she is necessary to the story, so's the Dark One. And you're not supposed to like him either. So I feel very similarly about that as Cadsuane, because I don't think that she actually really does much that redeems her. I think that she does good things. But again, I think that even all of those good things that she does, even all of that badassery, even all of those things that she does that are in some ways seemingly selfless, are extremely selfish. And yeah. I can't stand her both as a person and as the things that she chooses to do. And so again, I absolutely recognize that the story is better for having her there. I get that, and I appreciate that. But as Josh and Andrew both said, in some ways, I would not get along with Cadsuane at all. I've met and dated girls like Cadsuane, and they're awful. And again,
here we go again, 60%.
And again, it's a big problem with Cadsuane that every single time she tries to do something good, she does it badly. And that to me doesn't make her okay. And so again, from start to finish, while I recognize that the story isn't the same without Cadsuane, and while I recognize that she does do badass ththings and necessary things, I think that they're all done horribly.
Yeah.
Well, these discussions are fun because we have a lot of discussions that go this way where we talk about everything that happens. We talk about the effects things have, and then a lot of it boils down to a bit of a moral argument, a moral discussion. Like,
Oh, yeah.
are these things moral? Does this make moral sense? There's things can still be good and be immoral because life is complex. And Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson, Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson do a fantastic job of creating that dilemma. Like if you play D&D, that is the classical D&D dilemma. Do you do the horrible thing for the moral reason, or do you do the moral thing for the horrible reason? These moral dilemmas are age old, and it's just a core component of so many stories. And this one is no exception. And next week, we'll be having probably an even more moral dilemma style conversation.
Next week's is going to be fun.
Yeah.
We won't tell you what it is, though. You're going to have to tune in.
I have severe moral issues with the topic for next week.
Yeah, indeed.
So and we'll see how that pans out next week. If you are a Patreon, make sure you tune in. You can listen to it live for the low cost of supporting us for $1 a month, which we are incredibly thankful for. You can listen to our live recordings every Tuesday at 8 p.m. unless we state otherwise. We try to give you as much notice as we can. If you are not a patron and you're like, you know what, maybe I do want to listen live, blacktowerpod.com has the link for Patreon, which you'll need to be one of to be able to listen live. And it also has the link for our Discord, which is where you will be able to listen live. So if you haven't done that and you want to, again, it is $1. Everything we get from Patreon goes into helping support what we do at Black Tower Podcast. It goes into helping us do more and cool and fun things for everybody else. For anybody that is waiting for their mixology book, I am waiting for the little shipping envelopes from UPS to come in the mail because I had to order like 40 of them, which apparently doesn't cost anything. I'm still suspicious.
Seems sus, bruh.
Well, I ordered them before the USPS is apparently being restructured. So
yes. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they are coming. And if you don't believe that they are ready, I have one.
Oh,
indeed.
Well, technically, I have 40.
Yet,
but if you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding it up. If you're not watching it on YouTube and you're listening on the podcast, if this is out publicly,
we can confirm.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like the videos. It does help a ton. And every like helps more than you probably realize it does, more than we probably realize it does. And you can see that if you are a Patreon, if you are at least the soldier tier or higher, you'll be able to see that roughly a week in advance. So like
correct,
the Friday after we record. But yeah, did I shell us out enough?
You did it.
Yeah,
you did it.
Nice.
Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, or thanks for not listening. Thanks for just letting it run in the background to boost our metrics. We appreciate that too. As always, here at the Black Tower Podcast, we hope you leave here just a tiny bit more insane than you were at the beginning of the show. We hope you have enjoyed taking the taint into your body in the most excellent fashion. Indeed. And, hope that you're having a great time. So from all of us here at the Black Tower, I have been Josh.
And I have been Andrew.
And I have been Daniel. And again, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the evening. We hope that you tomorrow morning or this morning or whatever is fantastic. And in case we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.